November 2008, so I was 9. I came from Egypt, so Cairo, Egypt, but that's not where I was from or born. I was actually born in Libya, but my descendants is from Sudan, so I tell people I'm Sudanese. And so the first 8 years of my life, or 7 I should say, I lived in Libya, and then for the next 2 I lived in Egypt, and then from Egypt we immigrated here, and that'd be 2008. The country my parents are from and the country I identify with, Sudan, has a lot of civil war and just corruption, and it was just not a good place to raise a family. And we had some family friends who already immigrated here, and actually some family too. They told us Lincoln, Nebraska is a good place to raise a family. It's not too populated or crowded. It just felt like home and a good place to settle down. And so that's what my parents chose, and we loved it ever since. It was definitely a culture shock. I didn't know too much English. My parents tried to teach me themselves, whether using like English, Arabic dictionaries, or just watching different cartoons and media, American media. But it was definitely a different experience going to school, 4th grade, with kids who didn't necessarily look like me. And so I tended to stick more to the other minority kids or the immigrant kids. And a lot of those same friends that I have now, I remember from that 4th grade classes that I took. I believe when my parents got their naturalization test, and so basically we had to live here for 5 years in order to qualify to take the test. And basically it's like a civics test, so they ask you questions like who was the first president and just basic American history. And so once they did that, they were able to get a passport, and then because they were naturalized citizens and we were minors, we automatically received citizenship as well. When I say we, it's me and my 2 younger siblings. And so it was that point, and when we got the passport, that was the 2nd time I ever went back to Sudan, and it was a cool experience. In 2015, we went to Sudan, that summer. My parents work, they work pretty blue-collar jobs, so my dad has worked at factory jobs the whole time he was here, and so he started off at farmland, which they manufacture pork products, and now he works at Mullick's, and they do more like automotive and like other industrial stuff. My mom, since 2012, has worked as a cashier at Goodwill, the location that's close to 27th and Superior, and she has a management position now. And yeah, they're just pretty hardworking individuals. When I first got here, everything was just new. I mean, at times it was scary, but I did want to not assimilate, but I wanted to kind of get accustomed to it and kind of learn the language was something big. I knew that. And so I took academics pretty seriously. I think that period, like the first 3 years, 4th through 6th grade, I took academics in school. That was something that I really enjoyed, making new friends, and just really becoming an American, living the American dream. And that's what I consider to be the best parts when I first moved. Because they did not speak English as well either, I was actually helping them with a lot of things. So even as a young child, I was doing things such as interpreting, or I would make the doctor's appointments myself for everybody. And so I was pretty involved with everything, the logistics, the different things that adults really should be doing, but I was doing because I had the best knowledge in terms of like speaking English. And so I learned to take on a lot of responsibilities as a young age, so I knew what it was like firsthand, but I accepted it completely. I just stepped up as much as I could, being the oldest sibling and their oldest child, and so I did know. Yeah, they didn't have to hide anything or tell me. I saw it.